ask maybe Yosuke to, if you want, you can share some, because you already shared the presentation for some of you and joined, and maybe you can talk a little bit more about the ending point of your curatorial research that involves some of the artists of our network. So, see, maybe we can quickly see against this backdrop, maybe. So this is the title of the evolution of your research that belongs to an ongoing curatorial research. You are based in Germany, Japanese based in Germany, and you started, if you can contextualize this research in the background of your island project.
Sure. So, hello everyone. Those artists who are working here, because I already made a presentation before, so they know what my project is, but to new people, I will briefly talk about my ongoing project in Germany. So in Germany, I have this interview project with immigrant artists. So I'm talking to artists from non-Western countries to Germany, and to study if their experience of migration has affected their art practice or not. So it was more straightforward because I was more focusing on the artists who, I would say, like first generation immigrants. And for this residency, I was thinking about like doing the same thing. But thanks to help from Giulio, I could kind of like expand my perspective this time. So, and then in these 2 months, I made this online exhibition. So my first message is to please visit scan the QR code and visit the exhibition. But I can also show here. So basically, one by one session is here, and then Ibrahima is also here. Just two guys are here on the top. And so basically, I put my interpretation to each of the work in this framework. So please have a look later. So it's basically like this. So maybe I can talk about the difference between my project in Germany and here. So for this exhibition, I have 10 artists. I have a cheating piece of paper here. So among 10, actually only 4 are the first immigrant artists. So, and then 2 of them who are interestingly like second generation immigrant living in Italy, and then 4, the rest is Italian artists who work with the theme of migration. So how can I? So that's the the difference basically, and. Should I talk about? And so in Germany, my mind was more like straightforward. So what does migration mean to each artist? But here I was also more thinking about what migration means, like culturally, and also what does this action of crossing a boundary mean? And because crossing sounds like a very brief action, and crossing a border, because border is a line after all, so it's a very brief action. But the equivalent Italian word attraversare could mean like going through. It could mean like a longer span. So I found it very interesting. I took inspiration from this. So actually, crossing the border is a very brief action, but going to the border and also after crossing the border, how these stories are more important to artists' life or humans' life, and then how can we talk about it? And actually, how long is this process? Actually, the crossing the border can change one's life. I started to think about this kind of thing. And also today, this is totally not relevant to this project. Like in Japanese culture, like when people pass, we say like our perception is this person is crossing a river to the other side. So it's very different from like maybe Christianity, so I think, crossing could mean different things in different cultures. So I started to think about this kind of thing. I'll go back to the cheating sheet. So I think after doing this, I realized some core questions at the end of the core of this exhibition. So first is, well, this is actually quite equivalent to my project in Germany. So when artists move from country A to B, how can she or he maintain this, relationship with the country of origin? Because it's not that straightforward. Because the country itself can, they keep changing. And it also depends how frequent these artists go back to the country, or maybe sometimes they just don't go back. So the country, the relationship with your country of origin becomes something you need to maintain. It's not because when you're there, I think it's more straightforward. So I think this is a very good theme from this exhibition, because each artist approach this question from different perspectives. And the second question is how, especially this is a case for Italian artists in this exhibition. So in Italy, of course, migration is a big issue, but of course, actually how can you talk about it? And then the importance of talk about the issue is not only by data or some pictures, but how culturally or how personally, how artistically can you approach this question? I think this is very important question, and then you have to be resilient. You have to keep talking about this stuff. I think this is very important, especially Celestino's work talks about this. And also, emotion. So I think this is my first point, because when you go to exhibition, you see a CV of an artist. This migration process is always just one sentence. So this artist comes from A to B and blah, 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 blah. But how can it be that simple? It could be a more complex, it should contain very complex feelings. So I think some of the artists in this exhibition talk about this, and which I found very important. And for example, so also there are two artists who also kind of helped me expand this framework of the exhibition a little bit. One is David, because he talks about the colonialism. So colonialism, of course, it's a historical, more for the historical studies. But from the point of migration, it also could be seen as a very violent migration, because someone went to other country to take the resources, exploit the resources, and then expand the territories. So I found it, I don't know if I have a successful or not, but I'm happy to include this argument into this exhibition. And also Allegra, the photographer, she also talked about heterotopia. She, actually this one is the last, so I put it the last. So she documented the interior design of a ferry ship in Italy. And it's very uncanny, because it's kind of a utopia-ish, because it's the place for people to relax and actually detach themselves from the everyday life. But and she of course my focus concept of heterotopia. It's not utopia, because so it's this space for people to dream, because a lot of people are crossing the sea, in different modes of ship, or sometimes like a yacht to the rubber boat to this kind of ferry. So I think this connection between possibility of analyzing this kind of space of transport as a place to dream. I think that was an interesting kind of topic for me. So I think that's the basic framework. I think please visit the exhibition, and then looking forward to hearing your feedback. Sorry?
I'm interested in, because this is an exhibition, so this is like this, okay.
It's an ongoing set of topics that you want to develop.
2 months are quite short, because everyone's not very.
Because Italy, you were in Italy to do this.
So I have to continue.
Great.
Thank you so much. I think it's a very interesting.